talking about Jesus coming down.
No, that's right. Yeah.
I'm Steve Crawford, host of Factor Theory Live. Join me every Sunday night from 10 p.m. till midnight Eastern Standard Time on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Check it out.
Hello, my name is Mr. Rowe. I am the host of Reality Extraction on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I utilize logic, intellect, and magic to methodically autonomize, vivisect, analyze, examine, study, scrutinize, and extract an essence of reality from a fog of illusion and confusion. You can find me on Studio B every Thursday, 1700 hours Pacific Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. No topic taboo, no subject too strange. I strive to take a neutral standpoint during the dissection of the topic at hand. That's Reality Extraction with Mr. Rowe on Revolution Radio.
What's going on here? I demand an explanation.
New York City.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
An intelligence organization that fears intelligence, historically not awesome.
The United States is a democratic nation. Here the people rule. We build no walls to keep them in, nor organize any system of police to keep them mute.
Freedom isn't free at all, but it comes with the highest of costs.
We have you, the listeners, and the hosts at
Revolution Radio.
for allowing us to bring you a platform of free speech.
Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, clocks run out.
Wind is blowing cold and dark. On the road and no way out. A broken heart's a smoking gun. On the run.
My name's Jimmy. It's Monday. Welcome to the working week.
Broken down, so I walk the line. I drown my wounds and I ain't done. I'm out of money, I'm out of time. Like a broken arrow, the time slows and my vision narrows. I'm out of money, I'm out of time. Sing your hearts out, sing it loud. Make me happy, make me proud. Black holes, solid ground. Black holes, solid ground. 1,000 voices set them free, because this silence is killing me.
That's right. Put on your shades. Pull them down tight. The future looks bright. All we're hearing about is doom and gloom everywhere. That's all I can do is to put on my hip waders and get my way through it every day. My name's Jimmy. I'm your friendly announcer right here on revolution.radio, freedomslips.com. Come on down, become a patron. 50 lively, warm bodies in the chat, ready for some discourse and discussion about the current events taking place in this world of ours, this reality that we've created. We sit back and go, look what's going on over there, man. How could that be? It's like we've been outside of it. We didn't have anything to do with it. How did it get like this? Oh man, it's all too much. It's all too much. Well, I had a pretty good weekend. It's kind of a spring. It looks like spring in here in the west, on the west coast, the left coast, California, Santa Cruz Mountains to be exact. And it was a good weekend. Like I said, it looks like spring, but it really isn't warm, I would say, to me. It's a little bit cold. I know it was like 50-something degrees over in Hawaii, and people were freezing to death. Not literally, but, when you get used to things being a certain way and then they change, well, that usually makes you uncomfortable. I know it makes me uncomfortable when it gets cold. It's just simply because I don't like the cold. But, the thing change is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. And it looks like we've been launched into this catapult of change on a rapid rail to hell in a lot of people's estimation. There's two sides of every, if you got a two-sided blade, it can cut you on both sides. So, not all things are bad and not all things are good. There's always some place in the middle. There's always some middle ground. And that's usually where you find a lot of your answers if you're piling up information from both sides so that you can weigh it out for yourself and make an educated decision about whatever it is that's put in front of you. So a lot of people are having to make some serious decisions about their personal lives and about what they're going to do about their own health, and whether or not their body, it belongs to them or not. And for some reason, it all of a sudden seems like it doesn't belong to us anymore. We don't have a choice in what we're going to do. Well, let's put it this way: you have a choice, but it's the same choice that you make every day when you decide to go to work. Instead of, because when you don't go to work, what happens? You get homeless. And if you don't go to work and you get homeless, well, the same thing's probably going to happen to you if you don't. You don't have to. You don't have to participate in the injectable. But if you don't, you can't do this. And if you don't, you can't do that. And if you don't, you can't do this. And it's only going to be 2 weeks. And all we got to do is flatten the curve. And it's just one thing after another, and here we are. We talked about this 9 months ago. We talked about this this COVID ID pass, and nobody wanted to really talk about it. No, it's not going to happen. That's just what they're doing over in, South Korea. That's not what they're going to do here. But, that is what they're going to be doing here. And so, as you can see, technology is going to be at the forefront of any healthy American day-to-day in the next, from now on. And that may include facial recognition. That may include some sort of a, I don't even know. At this point, I guess you could say, just go down and give a sample and, receive your new token. That you've now graduated from the old world into the new world, and you're ready to move into the future. That's what we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about the future. My name is Jimmy. This is Gamma. Brandy Lou, are you there?
I'm here, Jimmy. That kind of made me a little dizzy.
I know.
Going in and out and fast, slow.
I know. I got dizzy too. I almost got a head rush. I almost passed out there for a second. But that's because it's 4:20 over here. Oh, wait a minute, my watch is wrong. But that's all right. I don't mind. So how you doing, Brandy? Are you hanging tough?
I'm hanging tough. We got some new baby chickens and just brought my pets back from the vet and got their little parts cut off, and so we're all set here. We're ready to rock and roll with our show.
Well, you brought the blade down on a pair of testicles. I hear. It sounds like you brought the blade down on a pair of testicles, Brandy. Is that true?
I did. I feel so horrible, but it happened.
Well, don't worry. I mean, you fit right in with the times. I mean, you're moving into the future. And emasculated males are something that will persist, I think, in the future. Just simply because, I mean, you know, getting ready for the show today and taking a look at some of this stuff, you know, and I'm in this stuff anyways already. But I see that there's quite a bit of a lot of people don't participate in physical activities much anymore. Lots of people are just turning into these gargoyles that sit on these couches and these chairs across the world. You know, everybody's in this one sitting position for so many hours, and that's why I think you see a lot of this sciatic going on. You know, all of a sudden you've noticed this giant uptick in sciatic nerves and all this, and I mean, it even struck me down for a couple weeks, literally, and because I'm always in a sitting position, you know, and I think a lot of people are. And so, you know, the thing about it is that you got to stand up and, you know, it's so funny, you know, it's like, be upright. You know what I mean, Brandy? We've reduced ourselves to these sitting gargoyles, you know, perched on these office chair type thrones across the planet. You know what I mean? The electronics and the technology has really given us opportunity not to have to sit there and slave like we used to, you know, dragging logs across the, you know, peeling poles. You ever built a log cabin, Brandy?
Not a log cabin, but I have helped build a house.
Well, when you build a log cabin, after you chop the tree down, you got to take this thing and scrape off all the bark. It's called peeling poles. And yeah, I've had to. One time I went to go help out somebody who, you know, their family, there was somebody that was sick, and so we went to go volunteer at the guy's property to help him out. because they needed help. So I went up there. He goes, hey, yeah, how about this? Hey, Jimmy, why don't you go over there and peel those poles? I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, see this? You take this thing. It looks like a blade. It's about 4 feet long, and you take it and you jam it up under the bark, and then you run it down the tree or the tree trunk that you got there, and you peel that off. So it's not fun. But I mean, today you wouldn't really necessarily. I'm sure today you could just use a computer and design something that would, take that bark completely off that tree without any, skin off your own knuckles. And I think, I mean, isn't that sort of like what we got going on in the modern world? It's like a lot of it is, you don't really have to leave your chair, and you can have so many things happen.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can do everything at the push of a button. Order anything. You can go anywhere. Just go online and, hey, I want to go to, Zimbabwe today. And not that there's a Zimbabwe, but it sounds cool.
Well,
and, people are, they're calling themselves couch potatoes too. That was the phrase that I was thinking of earlier.
Well, don't call it Mr. Couch Potato. Just make sure it's just potato. Or couch potato. No references to male or female gender on your potato, Brandy. So, Brandy,
it's not really acceptable or politically correct.
No, it's not. But then again, not much is these days. And I was watching this thing earlier today. I couldn't even believe the parallel somebody was drawing to the cancel culture, saying the next step is mass murder. Genocide. So people have gone out of their minds, and so today what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple chunks of the future. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to do it right now, Brandy. We got about 15 minutes before the break, so let's take a listen to this.
A world with sufficient food, water, energy, and other basic needs for everyone on Earth. It seems utopian, unfeasible, especially in times of crisis. But according to Peter Diamandis, author of Abundance and founder of the X Prize Foundation, that reality is not far off.
I believe fundamentally that we're heading towards a future where the needs of every human on the planet, the basic needs of every human on the planet will be met. What I mean by that is access to clean water, food, shelter, energy, communications, education, healthcare.
Peter Diamandis sees several developments converging, radically altering the future we're expecting to see. The technology needed for this is already available and can be used. It's quite simple, really. The price of solar power is coming down so fast that in 20 years' time it could be almost free. When energy is almost free, there are new possibilities to tackle a future water crisis. It's certainly possible to convert salt water into sweet water, but it takes a lot of energy. Big changes are now on the way. With enough energy and fresh water, it will be possible to grow food in places that are now off limits. In the middle of the desert, for example. But if so many solutions are at hand and available, why then aren't they being put to use? Why do we only see a future in which one crisis replaces the other?
When people think about the future, they forget where we've been the last 100 years. We are living in a world where we're constantly being bombarded by negative news. Over and over and over again, you hear about this murder, about this economic crisis, about this terrorist activity, and there's a reason that we're fed such negative news. It's because, literally the brain has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to pay far more attention to negative news than positive news, because on the savannas of Africa, as we were evolving as humans, if you missed a piece of good news, well, that's too bad. Miss a piece of negative news and it could be your life, which is why most of the news media and most of the politicians will use negative news to capture people's attention.
So, Brandy, negative news to capture our attention. seems to be something that's been going on for quite a long time, and especially in the news. So we're captivated by this negative information that we're fed, on a constant basis. Wouldn't you agree? Steady diet of negativity causes angst, anxiety, depression. You know, there's people that are getting killed over their stimulus checks. You know what I mean? It's $1,400. A family of 4 was killed over $1,400. People are out of their minds, right?
Yes.
So it's just this compounding negativity that never goes away. And people, you can't walk away from it. Like I'm saying, I'm frozen in a sitting position in front of my machine being fed this information 24 hours a day. You know? So it's hard to get away from the negativity. But let's try to break away from it for a second, because the future might be bright. The future may be bright. It may just be around the corner. It may just be around the corner, Brian.
The reality of the world we've had has been much, much better. You see, over the last 100 years, if you look at the data, over the last 100 years, the human lifespan has been literally extended by a factor of 2. The income for every nation, adjusted for inflation, has tripled. The cost of food has come down 13-fold, energy 20-fold, transportation 100-fold, and communications over 1,000-fold. I mean, that's an extraordinary world to be alive in, where access to food, water, shelter, energy, healthcare is exploding. And what's happening is these things are all due to one thing: technology. The technology that created these improvements isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. And so the improvements to our lives are going to accelerate as well. That way is Google. And we chose this location for the headquarters of Singularity University because it's really in the center of a hotbed of innovation. The companies within 50 kilometers over here represent trillions of dollars of revenue and some of the smartest companies on the planet. The kinds of conversations we have here are conversations that don't take place in many places. I mean, I spent 10 years at MIT and Harvard in the research labs there in biology and aerospace, and most of the conversations there are very narrow in their field. Here, you're jumping back and forth between molecular biology and robotics and nanomaterials and computational systems, and there's a very multidisciplinary conversation that is, and also a mindset that there is nothing impossible. It's really about, okay, how would you do that?
Look at the speed of technological developments differently from most people.
When we evolved on the plains of Africa, we evolved under a circumstance that was local and linear, meaning that the world changed at a very linear scale. Nothing changed generation to generation, year to year. And it was very local, the things that affected us within a day's walk. But today, we're living in a world that is global and exponential. Something happens on the other side of the planet, we know about it seconds later. Our computers know about it microseconds later. Not only is life changing, technology changing, decade to decade, it's changing year to year at an extraordinary rate. The things that we depend on today that didn't exist 5 years ago. So we tend to view the future through linear extrapolation. We think about the future the same way we viewed the past. But in fact, things are moving so rapidly. As it turns out, the world that we live in today was created for no other reason than the power of technology. At Singularity University, we fundamentally teach that all technologies are riding on top of Moore's Law. Moore's Law is the notion that computers are getting twice as fast every 18 to 24 months for the same dollar invested. Anything that uses computers or uses computational power is doubling in price performance every year. That includes biology, includes manufacturing, almost every field. If we start doubling a small number, 0.01 doubles to 0.02 to 0.04, 0.08, 0.16, it basically looks like a straight line because you're doubling very, very small numbers. It's deceptive in the early stages of exponential growth. But once you get to a point where it starts to grow, it's disruptive. And we call this point the knee in the curve.
Mine's Jimmy. It's Revolution Radio.
Move to the music, got to shout and sing a thing. You got to groove with the rhythm, girl. Get slick and shake that thing. Yeah, just let it be for real. If you got the power, then you all know what you gotta do. You can't lay dead.
You know what you gotta do. Come on down. Become a supporter. We're fully listener supported. Become a patron. We got the Zazzle store. I hear there's some sales going on over there on some coffee mugs. There's lots of ways you can become a patron. You can become a Zazzle store shopper. You can even go down to the bottom of the page and find Lady Horse's address and send her something directly. Federal Reserve notes, checks, a note thanking her for all her hard work, because lots of people coming around here doing lots of hard work, and we're all doing it as a volunteer. So if you want to volunteer a few bucks, boom, you know what you can do. Mosey on over, freedomslips.com, revolution.radio. 50 some odd people in the chat room. I'll shout you out when we come back. It's Tower Power. It's into the microcosm. We'll be right back. All right, we're done over there.
That was quick,
That was only 30 minutes.
but it went quick.
Did it?
I think so.
Nice. Well, good. Why don't you jump over here and cozy up with everybody in the chat, and I got to take care of a few things here real quick.
Jimmy's gonna go take care of a few things. Let me shout you guys out. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of you. I don't want to miss anybody. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. Hey, Dennis. Zoe's here. Mike is here. Bernays Sauce. Bernays Sauce is laughing. Smurfer Girl and Algo. Algo came in upside down, and now he's going to get real small. Marty's here. Bud is here. And Mountain Devil. Hi, sweetie. Who else? Who else? Oh, hi. Lewis is here. And Dry Fly Guy and Bet. And I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, jump up and down and wave your hands in chat. Oh, John. I did miss John. I think everybody else is here, and thanks for coming, and I hope that you're going to like what you're going to hear tonight. We're trying to look forward to the future.
Starting today, nobody has to settle for less than the...
Deb, hi Deb.
Yeah, we're gonna look forward into the future in the first hour, and then in the second hour, the pendulum is gonna swing in the other direction. But that's how we like to do it. You know how it is. So.
Like life.
We got a couple. Give me 2 seconds here. Hang on. Okay.
All set there, huh?
Yeah, we're all set. We are all set, man. How's everybody doing over here? Let me go over here and see what you guys are up to. Damn, 22 people on the backup channel? Wow. We are rock and rolling, man.
Cool.
Now, looks like Dawn 2U2 just joined up over in Revolution Radio chat. Can you see the Revolution Radio chat?
No, I've never been able to get in. I think it's something on my security settings that I'm going to have to figure out.
Man, there's like 50 people in there.
Wow.
I got to shout them out now. That's why I was seeing if you could see in there.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I don't have to shout them out.
It's nice too, though.
All right, we got to go back, Jack. Do it again. Here we go. 90 minutes left. Here we go. Ready? Boom.
Unity into the galactic paradigm. So welcome all, both terrestrial beings and galactic beings as one. So be it. You're listening to Revolution Radio.
If you think for 1 second that the Capitol will ever treat us fairly, you are lying to yourselves. Because we know who they are and what they do. This is what they do, and we must fight back. You can torture us and bomb us. Fire is catching. And if we burn, you burn with us.
Good evening.
Are you awake yet? I hope. We've tried and we've tried for years and years to use passive resistance and loud voices to make a change. But time is over. Your governments around the world have no other goal than to decimate your entire existence at the hands of the bankers and the elites. The war is coming, and it's your choice to decide if you want to be a warrior or a victim. Denial is not a choice anymore. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the planet. Not giving up. Revolution Radio. All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
We're bound to wait all night. She's bound to run amok. The best of nothing at anyhow. He reaches on. The garden's sorting out. She curls her lips on a bar. I don't know if I'm dead or not. If you anyone, come on and get the minute run before you open up your eyes.
My name's Jimmy.
Come on and get your overdose. Collected at the borderline.
It's the Broken Bells. The High Road. That's right. Trying to take the high road today. At least for the first hour. It's 3:33 on the West Coast. That means it's 9, man. The 9. And there's a bunch of people over in the chat room. Revolution.radio, freedomslips.com. See over there, Dawn 2U2's over there. Denise just blinked. Denise, Colorado Man, Share Bear, Eagle Flower, Poof, Open Philosopher, Festus B, Ames Marie, Promedics, Fleischquell, Mona Radler, SJ1, Zippy 101, Rudolph Mitzi, Dr. Mem Jing, Meow, Branko, Mace 139, Dry Flag Guy, Monster 383, Pat Rabbit, Saul Rosenberg, Harry Q, SJ, Doc Who, Choppy Waters, Simply Red 777's down there somewhere. I see you. And we got Bets over here, Brandy Lou's over here, Algorithms over here, over Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, Strike Zone, because we got struck out on the main channel yesterday. So we're over on the Strike Zone, so if you're looking for the show, that's where it is, just Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, Strike Zone. We'll be over here until June, so if you want to head over and save that and subscribe to this channel, that'd be great, because we're going to be here for a while. I got 2 strikes on the other channel. I'm going to hang back from going back over there again before we get struck out completely. I got to download all my stuff over there, get it off of there first, and then eventually we'll go back. But in the meantime, anyways, Brandy, are you there?
Yes, Jimmy, I'm there.
Excellent. Well, let's get back into this now. We're trying to see the bright future that potentially is offered by technology, and Peter Diamandis and the X Prize, Singularity University up here in the Bay Area. It's over at the old Moffett Field facility, so they got a lot of big brains on Brad over there hanging out and trying to solve problems, and so they come up with some great stuff over there, and they really have an idea about what the future potentially looks like, and so they're excited about it. They're excited about the future. They're excited about the potential of all these millions and billions of brains coming online that aren't there now. That somehow, some way, some of these people that are out there right now that aren't connected to the universe might be the next Tesla. There may be somebody out there right now, and when they come online, all of a sudden, all these dominoes effects come along with it. And so they're anticipating this exponential growth that will launch us into a new era of, prosperity across the planet for people that, didn't really have access to some of the things that we take for granted for a long time. There's now all of a sudden you got electricity in the middle of nowhere. You can generate water in the middle of nowhere. You got Elon Musk's satellites. You can get internet in the middle of nowhere. You got China building the Belt and Road project around the world. You have the old Silk Road coming online. You have trucks driving themselves, solar-powered 18-wheelers driving themselves on the new Silk Road in cities that have been built already. They built the cities before the road got there. So, this new world is ready to catch on fire, and the only thing that stopped it was what's happened over the last year. So other than that, things would be moving along at a brisk pace. But now instead we find ourselves stymied and stagnating on the vine, wasting away in Margaritaville, and but there may be some potential bright spots, Brandy. So I like to look for the bright spots, but the pendulum will swing the other way in the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. I will present the opposing viewpoint to the future, or potentially what could be the potential future. My name's Jimmy. Yeah, that's right. It's Into the Microcosm. I'm sitting here with Brandy Lou, and I am your friendly narrator for the next 90 some odd or 80 some odd minutes.
Because of that, prices are dropping exponentially too. Imagine this would happen with one of the technologies that influence almost everything in our life. What would the consequences be?
One of the fundamentals for human life, for living a great life, is having access to energy. We take it for granted right now that you can go and plug in and have light 24 hours a day and have access to energy to run your refrigerator, your car, whatever it might be. It wasn't always that way. And over the course of millennia and centuries and decades, energy has become more and more available.
Take solar power. Its energy production is increasing fast, and the price of electricity from solar power is rapidly decreasing. Here at Alta Devices, a manufacturer of a new type of solar cells, they're ready for the consequences.
So
So this is future expansion area. We use it obviously for shipping and receiving and some storage now, but ultimately this will all have manufacturing tools and equipment that will be used to process more cells. Basically what we're manufacturing are these very thin solar cells that look like this. They're completely flexible and lightweight. What's unique about them is they use the same material that's used in the space program to power spacecraft when they're millions of miles away from the nearest plug. So that's what we do. We end up with these flexible cells. They can be connected into sheets, and those sheets can be of any size. And then they can be embedded into all types of different objects.
The cost of solar production has dropped precipitously over the last 30 years. In 2012, last year, MIT put out a study that showed by the end of this decade, by 2020, the cost of solar in the sunny parts of the United States would be a third of the average of the grid across the US. In 2011, the cost of solar became cheaper in India than the cost of electricity from diesel generators. So this revolution is beginning to hit now, and the cost of solar is continuing to plummet.
So this is a machine that actually creates our film. Our main claim to fame is that this is the highest performance solar cell of its type. Typical for a solar panel is 15 or 16% of the sun's energy gets converted to electricity. Ours converts almost 30%. So it's almost double. That's right, almost double.
Imagine a device that is for the consumer, not for a doctor, not for a nurse, for you and me to use, for a mom at 2 a.m. in the morning when their kid is sick. Or if you're trekking through Mumbai or through Patagonia in Chile, this is a device that's your doctor. Imagine this device that's so accurate that it's able to do diagnostics better than a team of board-certified doctors. That's the kind of technology that's coming online right now.
Healthcare is not the only field that is being swept up in the exponential growth of technological developments. The production of almost all material goods is about to be digitized, putting everything on its head.
As it turns out, the ability to invent something new is resident everywhere. Everyone, sort of somewhere in their life, sees a problem and says, why can't I do it this way? Now, the ability to take that idea and actually build it and then to distribute it and manufacture it gets harder. But lots of people have ideas. But what's going on today that makes this totally different is literally the world of the internet and crowd creation. We are living in a time where I think the idea is the most important part. The ability to fund it from the crowd, the ability to use computers that's available out there to design it, manufacture it, test it, distribute it is happening more and more. So as more people are plugged in through the internet, as these exponential tools for manufacturing things, designing things, modeling things are coming online, the ability for more people to innovate and to create is itself growing exponentially.
One of the biggest manufacturers of 3D printers is located in Geldermalsen, in the Netherlands. The machines that are made here will allow everyone to make everything themselves. The impossible will then suddenly become possible.
As long as you can imagine it, you can make almost anything that is inside this box that fits in here. We can see that this is such an important tool for new innovations of the future, for empowering people to actually be able to create what was only a thought before. There are so many different applications. They're used in schools, but also just for people at home. Artists use them. It's so versatile. Anything that fits in there can be constructed. There are so many applications, more than I can mention. The beauty of digital production is that as long as you have a digital file, then you can send somebody the object via email even. And you can even transmit, like on Wikipedia, everybody can collaborate and add to the knowledge. And in this case, it could be physical objects that people can print in their own homes. So the way of distributing and sharing objects is radically different. And this is for the first time that for physical objects, this has become possible. The beauty is that with a flexible production technology, like any digital manufacturing technology, it's not more expensive to make a different thing all the time. So you can keep improving your design. And this is a really powerful mechanism. And it also means that creating niche products is not more expensive, and they are usually higher value products. So that is also very important. So it will really stimulate innovation very much.
On a website, people are sharing their designs. Some artistic, others highly practical, such as parts for IKEA furniture.
Mom's Jimmy. It's Revolution Radio.
I'm falling off again, but I know I'm not your man. I find it hard to stand. When I'm on my own, so just carry on, drift onto the storm. I'm losing all my fight, it's over. Never know, throw it through the door. I'm dreading that I've lost another. Oh, 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 oh. But I'm all alone again. Dreaming on some distant land. Find it out, oh, my consciousness. Dark as roses and finest sand. I feel your healing in your sting again. I hear you laughing and my soul is safe. On forgotten graves you cry. Crawl like ivy up my spine.
It's Revolution Radio. Talking about the potential, the potentiality for a bright future through technology. I don't know. This sounds promising, Brandy, doesn't it? I mean, with all these advents, it's like a medical device that'll be able to diagnose you better than a team of board certified physicians. It's like it was sold there. That's pretty wild. I mean, just by just taking a little sample of something, and you just hold this little device and put it up against your head, and boom, your phone comes up, the app pops up and tells you exactly what's going on, and that's pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
It's like magic, yeah.
It is like magic. And technology and on some levels is almost indistinguishable from magic for some people. Just like if you would have shown a mirror to a native someplace that had never seen a mirror before, it's the same kind of thing. It's just it's a fascinating advent in human ingenuity to get to where we are at this point. But now we're at this precipice, Brandy. That's the thing is, when Jordy Rose, when they were having discussions with him, and they're talking to him about him building robotics and him building Android type devices up in Canada. And he was saying, he's going to build the best. He's going to build the best Android, the most realistic Android that he can build. He's striving to build the best piece of technology for mankind as he can. And he says, but once you buy it from me, okay, I'm not responsible for what you're going to use it for. And that's the thing is, people just, this technology is developed here in the Silicon Valley, and it is just like magic. It's like somebody pulling a rabbit out of the hat. And when the technology arrives, they pull the rabbit out of the hat. People are, wow, look at that rabbit out of the hat. Oh my God. And everybody adopts it. And then you find out later that there's some heinous aspect to it that you weren't aware of in the beginning because you were so fascinated with the rabbit coming out of the hat. And now you can watch your phone and you can see, back at the house, you could watch your house, see who's knocking at the door. You know what I mean, Brandy? Your phone's checking in with you. I mean, even they have a device now that you can put on your wrist and it'll tell you if the tone of your voice, if you need to change the tone of your voice because people misunderstand the tone of your voice and you didn't come off well to people today with your tone of voice. Your little wristband.
No way.
Yeah. Maybe what I'll do is
Wait a minute. Then that would be dictating how people perceive things and how they want things. That's a major control right there.
I know, but when you think about it, though, like, when people just use this tone of their voice without thinking about it, and just think of how the tone and inflection in somebody's voice when they're interacting with you could make you feel one way or another. Just simply.
Yeah, I know that. But this is saying it's telling you that it's going to make people feel that way, and they may not feel that way because we all perceive things differently.
That's true. But that's the thing. The AI doesn't perceive it differently. It listens to the voices and it knows that you are, regardless of what anybody says, if somebody's using an angry tone of voice, they're making a choice to use that tone. To use that tone to get whatever they need to get. In other words, if your boss uses an angry tone at you, you feel on guard. You feel like you got to do something. Maybe you're gonna go sweep the aisleway or something. Just to make sure he's cool. You're not gonna get fired. So it's that kind of thing. But I'm just saying. In the obvious panopticon type situation with this technology, anything that monitoring your heart rate and your this and your that's on your wrist, and monitoring your tone of your voice and listening to you and all this, I'll see if I can dig up the the commercial for it on the break. My name's Jimmy. It's In the Microcosm. We're here every Monday at 3 Pacific. We're here at 11 Pacific p.m. Friday night. And we're over on Aftermath Media, right in between Alex Jones and Clyde Lewis at 6 o'clock Pacific on Thursday nights. And that goes out over aftermath.fm. And that's free. You don't have to subscribe to do anything. You can listen over there for free on aftermath.fm. Come on down and become a patron, because the only way that we're still here is the generosity of the listeners, and you guys have been really helping us out, keeping us going, and we really appreciate it. If you're listening now and you didn't help us out last month, or you haven't helped us out before, if you're listening now, somebody paid it forward. So if you have a little extra of that stimulus chunk that came in, got a little few extra, throw us a bone, man. We'd appreciate it. We show up when we're supposed to. We got to be here. We're here, man. Aren't we, Brandy? We're here right now. And believe me, it was hard. It was hard. Yeah, it was hard getting here today. We had to climb the stairs, We had to make sandwiches. You know what I mean, Brandy?
Door got. Remember how long it took that door open?
I had to carry this book, all these books. Imagine you used to have to carry books around. Now all you got to do is carry your phone. Just dial it up and see whatever it is that you want to learn, and boom, it's right there. Only problem is, I don't know, when the when the power goes out, well, then you got issues. So if you don't got books and you don't have it in your own head, and you're relying on the day that someday something's gonna happen, you're gonna need to use your phone to figure that out. I saw a bunch of people in Puerto Rico after they had their disaster, of this picture of like 100 people standing out in this field in front of a cell tower with their hand up in the air with their cell phones trying to get signal. It looks like they're praying to the cell phone god, Brandy. It's so funny. That's right. When we come back, we're going to be joined by a couple of people. A couple of guestages are going to be joining us to get into this, the remainder of this conversation that we started here. We're talking about the future. We're talking about the potentiality for the future to be great. But, no matter what we do, just like he was saying earlier, the negative information is more appealing to the human person because of the ramifications. If you don't pay attention to the negativity, you could end up dead. So there's a lot of negativity around technology in any group. Whenever you talk about technology, there's going to be somebody in there who's going to say it's the mark of the beast system. The beast is alive and well in the system, isn't it, Brandy? Is that what people say? It's the beast system. Getting ready for the beast, mark of the beast. You won't be able to buy or sell without it. So what is that? So what does it mean? You won't be able to buy or sell without it. Does that mean it's almost the same thing as like what they're saying with this pass? This pass you're gonna have to have. It's like you're not gonna be able. You won't be able to. You won't be. Go ahead.
The pass, I believe, is a sort of introduction into the system. If we won't do it for health reasons, then maybe we wouldn't for other reasons. And it's just
you can't go in the goods store over there to buy those groceries. You got to go to this other store down the street over here, and all the boxes in there, they just say they're all yellow boxes, and they just say the name of it on there: macaroni and cheese, dish soap, whatever, one kind of jeans or jumpsuits over here in this section. You can't go in the goods store because you don't have you're not a part of the functioning society. You're one of those refusers. Mom's Jimmy. It's in the microcosm. We're going to be back after station messages. No commercials. We sent the commercials out for a smoke, and we locked the door on them. And let me tell you something. Come on down. Come patron. We'll appreciate it.
Too much, it's in my head, so I'm shaking off the rust, and you got no trust, it's in my head, so I'm shaking off the rust. I think I broke just a little bit, walked through the fire, made it back again. Lord knows I tried everything I can. Now I'm shaking off the rust. Bang my head against the wall. Try to hold a smile, but I'm sick of it all.
All right, we're out of there. Hang on. I got Giuseppe, I think. Giuseppe, come on in and make sure you're there.
Hey, man, how you be? Hey.
Hang on, sorry. Yeah. So I'm not sure, is Algo coming on or not? Did you notice? I asked him on. I don't know if he's gonna come. But so I just finished up with that piece there.
Oh.
I can't hear you. Go ahead.
He's in a phone conference. He can't come.
Okay, cool. All right, so I just finished up with that piece there, and I got some more pieces. Now, the next piece I got here, Giuseppe, is who's gonna own the future? Okay, why
nice.
don't you guys jump in here real quick? I gotta go in the house real fast. It's important. I gotta do it right now.
Well, Divine Miss B, who's gonna own the future?
The people that have the most control, really, I think. Look what happened to Tesla.
Yeah, I would say it's the same people who have owned the past for the last 6,000 years, which is the people who control the form of currency or money, who can implement usury. That means they have the money to create and own the armies, and then they can pretty much build the empires. So I don't see that changing. I mean, there's some people who believe that the technology will create this great egalitarian new world, but I think it's more of the totalitarian new world order where the technology will be used to control, at first perhaps sedate the masses, and eventually turn them into like a transhuman operative, kind of like a refined autism, where you're doing what they want you to do, and you're content, and you have all kinds of remarkable 3D and maybe by then holographic reality to, and you know, you're used for your energy, or you're used for whatever it is they want you. Otherwise, they'll wipe you out. But I think it's going to be a sanitized dystopia myself.
I think this is a great jumping point for them to jump off of and really take advantage of. Like, look, all this great stuff is coming down the pike, and it's going to be so good and so good for you, and people just get distracted by the shiny.
Okay, get ready, because we're already late, so I gotta go back right now.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for this fucking commercial to play. Stand by. All right, get ready. All right, here we go.
Your entire existence at the hands of the bankers and the elites. The war is coming, and it's your choice to decide if you want to be a warrior or a victim. Denial is not a choice anymore. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the planet. Not giving up. Revolution Radio. All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
I got thinking on the mind. I got thinking on the mind. Sure, I need some stuff to do. Sometime never gonna be too soon when I see one. Yeah. You think I'm lonely? Well, you're right. Think I'm lonely? Well, you're right. World is loose and it cuts me down. Gleaming soul in a washed up town doesn't mean much. Yeah. Hey, said you wanna be my friend. Could you ever know I'm tongue-tied, sitting out a season? Never know nobody have to end me, end me.
Mom's Jimmy. It's into the microcosm.
Cybernetics had come to theorize that the world was essentially a single large information system, and that maybe information and information technology were themselves the tools by which we would actually be able to recognize and visualize the hippie organic collectivity that was a more mystical entity. So the mystical and the technical come together there. And you see that today all through Silicon Valley. The hope that we can build technologies of consciousness that will transform the social world without government. I think there's the same presumption that government itself is bankrupt. Not just this government, but all government, all politics is somehow just unfixable.
I think politics are a mistake. They're the trailing edge of society. And people who go into politics do it for because they have an emotional problem. It harkens back to Wilhelm Reich talking about the mass psychology of fascism, where politics is about working out your own emotional difficulties on other people. There's something wrong with that. I don't want to do that. I don't want other people to do that to me or on society in general. So I think in the 21st century, politics have been shown to be, if not bad, at least full of unintended consequences. And so if you want to make a better world, forget about electing Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton or any of these politicians, but go out and do it yourself directly. You can make a better world around in the areas that you have influence in the real world that you live in.
Because he missed the scenery, the native dancers, and the charming songs. But wait a minute, something's wrong. Hey, hey, now it's a mambo, mambo Italiano, a mambo Italiano, go Joe. You mixed up Siciliano, or you calabrese, do the mambo like crazy, and a mambo don't want a tarantella, a mambo no more a mozzarella, a mambo Italiano, try an enchilada with a fish, a bacalao, and a
Giuseppe Vaffanculo, are you there?
I'm here.
Excellente.
He's a D's, Gumbadi. Great first hour, man. You just week after week deliver the compelling, ponderous topics. It's great.
Well, speaking of ponderous topics, thank you very much. And speaking of ponderous topics, so we have some people in the Silicon Valley that think the politics and when you look back, you see the Whole Earth Catalog people were the original Silicon Valley-ites, and these people were more or less had a hippie sort of mentality going on. They saw the world a certain way, but obviously the world isn't that way. But they said that there's something they wanted to have something mystical be about what the future looked like. And I think you were talking a little bit about that on the break. So the technology, the dividing line between human and technology is this mythical line that what really the ultimate goal is singularity, where we become one with the machine.
Right.
And the idea is like, who owns the future? Is it the beast system where we're under the boot of the fascist, police, Fifth Element style, come and stand in the circle out in front of your door and put your hands on the wall? You know what I mean? Cameras everywhere, facial identification. I mean, this type of thing is what everybody's afraid of. Is there a reason to be afraid of that? Do you think?
I tend to believe so, yeah. I think it'll be far more insidious and clever, Jimmy and Brandy. I think that what the last couple decades of this clumsy, intentional creation of autism is a way to refine the dose, right? And with this new nanotechnology, they're going to eventually not even need to inject you. They're going to put it in the air, they're going to put it in the food, and they're going to get enough of like this hybrid living techno nanobot or whatever you want to call it, and it will just go up into your brain. It can easily penetrate the blood brain barrier, and what they want to do is they don't want to enslave humanity physically. They want to enslave you in a happy place, control your dopamine flow, get you all fired up for the next celebrity event, for the next sports ball event, for the next purchase of the iPhone 369.
Well, but hold on a second though. Let's slow the roll down a little bit here. So the thing is, when you say they, it's an important they that you're talking about, because you're not talking about the people that invented this technology or the people that control it. Well, who you're talking about is the people who have the money to buy it, the people who have the money to use this technology in ways that we find intrusive. Who is the they that is governing the they that you're talking about, that buys this technology up and uses the behavior modification complex to get inside of your skull and make you buy those tires right now because you need tires, and you're going to buy the ones that they send you right there?
Well, much of all human history, we're wired for a hierarchical pyramidal structure, right? People always like to look to someone above them for leadership, and in a positive sense, that could be the elder of the tribe or the medicine man sharing wisdom. But we don't get a lot of that these days. Now it's more or less you at the top levels, you've got some type of cult, literally some type of cult that worships some kind of dark entity beyond space and time, and then they have their physical operatives here. Some people call it the Illuminati, some people call it the there's all kinds of the hidden hand, the Canaanites, the Phoenicians, there's all kinds of names for the power brokers at the very top. Some they call the 13 black families.
Yeah, but you don't even
you
don't even need to go out on that limb. I mean, all you got to do is say that from a corporate perspective, if the technology exists for me to do X, Y, Z, and I don't have to invent the technology, I don't have to I don't have to own a company that makes it. All I have to do is come to you, Giuseppe, because you have some technology that you can stick over here, and it'll go into my brain and make me think something.
Well, right.
So
but
there's
those
nobody.
people funded.
There's nobody
development likely.
There's nobody sitting over the top of that, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, there's two sets of theys here, and they remain unnamed because they're the people that are paying for this stuff to be used on us are unnamed. It doesn't matter. Pick a corporation. Any corporation who's got the money can use this. It doesn't mean the technology is bad. It doesn't mean the technology is bad, but just the same way, and technology is way more dangerous than toys for children. But let's just reduce it down to that. If you had a toy that children could play with and kill themselves, there's some place that stops that toy from getting onto the market. We don't have the people in between the technology coming out of the Silicon Valley and entering into the marketplace, because once it enters in, you're never going to get rid of it. It's like the wireless horses out of the barn, man. You can't stop it. It's once people got a phone in their hand, they want more phone. Once they could get the internet, then they want to watch TV. Then they want to watch movies. Now they want, and just it never ends, Giuseppe. So what I'm
right. I would just augment and modify your statement that there is an apocryphal belief that the Apple guys created that computer in their garage, and Bill Gates dropped out of college. They try to make them into such heroes, but all that shit was predetermined, and they were chosen to be the proselytizers of what was determined to be the next step in mass technology use by humans. And much the way, so I personally believe that they're as much as 50 to 75 years ahead, and they are those people who fund DARPA, who fund the deep tech labs all over the world. I mean, you've been doing a great job covering, the Stanford research and the technology of the mind, and now we're talking about the technology of entrancement, and I think that is I mean, it could backfire, and that it could spread like wildfire, because I think that's the reason we're seeing this great reset and this effort to destroy the sovereign republics of Western Europe
Well, think about
and
this.
America, because they lost control of the internet in the narrative.
Think about this, Giuseppe. You know, if technology was magic, you used to have to knock on the door, become an apprentice for 4 years before you could use the magic. Right? And that's
Right.
why it was behind closed doors. It wasn't for everybody. Everybody couldn't use the magic. Only the special people could use it. Okay? It's still the same way. What's common to us, this technology that we're talking about today that's futuristic in a sense, I mean, in a sense, the technology that we're talking about today could change the world in a positive way. The fact that I could manufacture, that I could build myself a town in the middle of nowhere, manufacture my own goods with my 3D printer, generate my own water, generate my own energy, generate my own food sources, and that potential makes the world seem like a bright place, because really that's really mostly what we strive for, is to have shelter and comfort and food to eat. And once we take care of those things, we can, as a human race, progress to the next level, which is starting to figure out the other higher things we might want to be doing with our time. Because at the way that things are going, money and the way that we've lived in the past is on its way out, and a whole new way of living is coming in. And so there's a big disconnect between the people that don't want to let go of the past and the people that are in the future wanting to pull us into the future. Mine's Jimmy.
Well, Jimmy, you optimist, you. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's all right. I was going to run some more of this clip, but go ahead, man. Jump in.
Well, let me say one thing, is that is my idea of nirvana, right? But here's what would happen is you have a type of integrated naturalism that uses a lot of hemp and all this, and you're living clean, but guess what's coming over the horizon, Jimmy? It looks like a storm. Oh, is there a thunder a boomer coming in? No, it's trillions of little drones that are going to destroy what you've done, because you are outside of the system of control. And so that's what we face. I mean,
well, I mean, that's a potentiality, but the thing is
Right.
what I'm saying is that when there's a political discussion that goes on, it's the same old arguments, because the system has captured our imagination, and they've stifled our evolution, and they put us in a position where we go round and round in a revolution. What I'm saying is, the political conversations that need to be had are, there does need to be a body that sits over this technology before it makes its way out into the public and then becomes grandfathered in or whatever. And the thing is no one trusts anyone. So the thing is, no matter who you put in charge of it, somebody's going to say, well, how do we know that that they got our best interests at heart? And really, there's no way to know that, because society is not based on that. Society is based on, people getting in positions of power so they can, rule over you.
Right.
And so the thing is, it's not, when people get into power, they don't do what's best for the people. they do what the what the critical path says they're going to do during their particular script moment. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen more to this here. Unless you guys got anything you want to say here, I want to get through this thing real quick. Here you go. Go ahead, you guys.
I'm
I
good.
thought that. Go ahead, Brandy. I'm good. Jimmy, go ahead.
Okay.
To Silicon Valley, we may soon be entering a new post-political era. But what might that cybertopia, the alternative to Washington and Brussels, look like?
I think it is only a small exaggeration to say that that the government is so fundamentally evil.
This is Peter Thiel.
To deny the evil nature of the government is equal to denying the existence of the devil. And I think that sort of double negative works both for people who believe in the devil and people who don't. And then on the flip side, if the individual is to become sovereign, you think of the most sovereign thing in the world as something like God. You basically, achieving individual sovereignty means that you get to be God, or you get to be as close to God as is possible for anybody on this planet to be.
What we're witnessing, of course, is the death of permanence. A new society is being created around us, built from the broken pieces of today. And those who people that society are going to live in a different world.
Changes bombard our nervous systems, clamoring for decisions.
I run a project called the Seasetting Institute. It was founded in 2008 by Patrick Friedman and Peter Thiel. And our vision is that we can move out to sea into international waters and build cities. And on these cities, we can experiment with new forms of governments and new forms of society. I can't tell you who we're talking to right now because the negotiations are delicate, but we hope to have a deal with a host nation within the next year and try to be building the first city by the end of 2020. Many of the people who are excited about seasetting would consider themselves a futurist. We only have in 193 countries for 7 billion people there's not much choice there. I have more choice in soda than I have in government. But if there are thousands of cities floating at sea, we could find what suits our own personal needs. And when we live in a world that's as diverse as we are, we shouldn't all be, forced into the same hole.
So Peter Thiel dreams of living on a city island outside territorial waters where the laws are written by the investors. Venture capitalist Tim Draper stays closer to home. His suggestion would be to divide California into 6 smaller states, one of which should be the state of Silicon Valley.
This is a 6 Californias tie that
is California.
And by creating 6 Californias, we're creating a competitive environment.
Mom's Jimmy.
I lit out from Reno, I was trailed by 20 hounds. Didn't get to sleep that night till the morning came around. Set out run, but I take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, loaned me 20 bills. Spent the night in Utah in a cave up in the hills. Set out running, but I take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home.
I don't know, but I've been told it's hard to run when you got pockets full of gold. So maybe in the future we won't need gold. Maybe the gold will just be we just exist in this world where everything is at our disposal and everything's at our command. I command you, system, bring me a hot coffee with lots of cream, lots of sugar. Some serious gourmet coffee. That's right. In the future, maybe it'll just materialize right here, right in front of our faces. Mom's Jimmy, it's in the microcosm. Got a couple minutes left before the break. You guys want to jump in here? And when we come back, we're going to talk about who owns the future with Jaron Lanier, one of the OGs of the Silicon Valley. Do you guys want to jump in here? The future, who owns the future? Is it us or is it Silicon Valley?
I don't think it's Silicon Valley. I think it goes beyond that, but I think Silicon Valley is setting the stage. What do you think, Giuseppe?
I think that the international banksters love to create in the minds of Silicon Valley operatives that they're free and independent and leading us into a golden age. But I think the reality is, especially people like Peter Thiel, if you look into his background, he's a dark operator, and he puts on this I'm a cool guy public facade, but he is a dark guy, and I think that's what we're looking at. That nothing just organically, spontaneously occurs. Everything has a synthetic origin or is taken over by the synthetic controllers pretty quickly if it is indeed initially organic.
So much for any independence and independent thinking, independent action.
Well, there's some independent islands that are going to float around, and you can go out there, and the one that you like, maybe there's one over there that allows you to have firearms. Maybe there's one over there that's got a constitution, kind of like America used to have. Only they're gonna recognize it over there. But
after the break, I could give a teaser. I sound dystopian and dark, but I absolutely can envision a way that we can have the freedom that Jimmy's describing. But it's just, I'll save it till after the break.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it is too. The thing is if there's no way around something, then what you do is take what you got and use it against the system. So there's a way to take what they got and use it against them to get where we want. But that would take everybody to participate, and that's a tough one, man. Getting people out of their chairs, get out of your chair, and becoming a investor in freedom of speech. Revolution.radio, freedomstuff.com. Come on down, become a patron. Mom's Jimmy. It's in the microphone. All right, we're out of there. All right, let me get this thing queued up here. Let me just get this thing here. Hang on.
Work as much as we do. A general sense of...
Oh my God, is that necessary?
In his new book, author...
Okay. I'm here.
All right, bro. Great show, man. Really, really good.
Oh, sweet. I didn't dawn on me that it was, man. I'm so low energy, dude. I don't even feel like anything. I'm even doing anything.
Oh man, my sweet bootylicious has been dragging for 2 weeks now. Around here especially. It's interesting. Part of it is the suburban planners, or exoburb, I guess. At the time, now it's all just one giant city, but because they like the look, they planted all male plants, right? Instead of creating a balance of male and female. So allergies are off the chart because all over the country they plant the look of the male plant, and guess what the male plant's doing now? As just pollen. Where's my lady?
Is that going on? Because it's been crazy this year.
Yeah. It gets worse every year.
Oh. Well, that's not fun.
We got a couple more minutes left. Still.
We got the deep talk going on in the chat here.
Sweet.
People thinking.
Nice. Well, when we come back, Jaron Lanier is going to make you think, man. Jaron Lanier is a badass. I highly recommend you check out I mean, I have a debate here. It's too bad it's like an hour and a half long, and I didn't have time to cut it up, but there's a debate with Jaron Lanier and this other cat against these two people about AI, which is really fucking good. But I didn't have
Jaron
time.
Lanier is a sharp dude who really, he's living what you're talking about, Jimmy.
He totally is. And he's a
yeah,
trip,
yeah.
too, man. He plays these weird fucking ancient stringed instruments and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He lives right up here. I bet you, I mean, he seems like he talks to just about anybody. I don't think it'd be too hard to get the dude on the air, to be
That'd
honest.
be worth the effort, man.
Yeah, man.
Totally effort.
Yeah, I got to put...
Get him to some of that music. That'd be cool.
Yeah, he plays like weird old Chinese instruments and shit.
Those sound really neat.
Yeah, right at his the top of his website, JaronLanier.com. 10 arguments for deleting your social media accounts right now.
Yeah, bring that up. Have that handy. Here we go. We're going back. Ready? Ready? Hang on.
Sure.
Here we go. Boom. We'll get. I'll bring it up. Here we go. Ready? Bam.
Join Revolution Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Studio B for Momentary Zen with host Zen Garcia at freedomslips.com, the People Station.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio! The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Where the once mighty Kodak, a multi-billion-dollar company with more than 140,000 employees, had been replaced by the 13-employee firm of Instagram. With the disappearance of this old guard also comes the disappearance of middle-class wages and security. But Jaron Lanier says all is not lost. And joining us now to tell us how we can reverse the trend, on the line from Berkeley, California, there's Jaron Lanier, author of Who Owns the Future? You are not a gadget. Jaron, it's good of you to join us again here on TVO. You were on our program several years ago from the Perimeter Institute in Waterloo, and it's great to see you again. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Not at all. A pleasure. Just before we get into the book, I want to give people just who may not know of your work as much as we do, a general sense of sort of what you've been up to lately. Give us an idea of some of the work you've been doing lately.
Well, I'm a computer scientist. I have worked on all sorts of things. I'm best known for my work in virtual reality, although that was mostly a lot earlier in my life. I work on algorithms that model parts of the brain. I work with physicists on building models of how time and space work. I work on consumer products once in a while. Something called Connect from Microsoft is one of those things. And I write books. One is called You're Not a Gadget. Another is called Who Owns the Future. And I mostly write about how I think computers aren't serving people well enough yet.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. When I said off the top, you are not a gadget, that was a previous work that you had done. But we also remember you
It's
from
a separate
your
book.
yeah, we remember you from well, after our panel discussion was over, you came up to the Perimeter Institute, the top floor, and joined the musicians who were already there and started jamming with them, even though you'd never played with them before. And I got to say, many of us thought that was pretty cool. How many different instruments do you play?
Oh, right. Well, this is my other life. I'm a musician, and I have sort of a fetish for learning unusual and obscure instruments, and I don't have a current count, but there are many, many, many instruments in our house that I play. And I've had opportunities to play in Toronto more than a few times, and I adore playing up there. I love Canadian audiences.
And did I read this right? You opened for Bob Dylan once?
Yeah, once. People make too much of that. If it was more than once, it'd be worth reporting. It was just once, okay? At a jazz festival in Switzerland a million years ago.
Jaron, I think even if you open for Bob Dylan just once, that's something you can brag about, my friend. So we're going to mention it.
Okay. Now, if I could open for Leonard Cohen, that would be something.
Then you'd that'd be the big time. I want to pick up on this issue of virtual reality because you did, pioneer a lot of the conversation that people have around that, and have been critical about how technology has been affecting us. And I wonder when you started to see, as we pointed out in the opening, those red flags that have accompanied the technological boom that we're now experiencing.
Well, for me, it happened on two levels. One thing is you have to understand that for over 3 decades, I and my colleagues had been anticipating what wonders, the benefits we would bring to the world when networking became pervasive and cheap. And as the century turned and our long-term dream finally was unfolding, what we saw was something different. We saw the developed world folding into austerity. We saw a decline in the middle class in the US. We saw a decline in social mobility. And we saw this phenomenon of intense wealth concentration. And whenever I looked at one of these examples of intense wealth concentration around some financial scheme or something, there was always some giant computer on the network associated with that scheme. And what I started to realize is that we'd kind of screwed up. We had thought in sort of naive terms that by making a network with open information, all these benefits would accrue because everybody would have access to the information. But the problem is that even if people are created equal, computers are not. And whoever has the biggest computer, just naturally, even if they don't intend to do anything improper, will use that superior ability to gain this incredible advantage of being able to calculate all the risks and costs.
Into the microcosm. We're talking about the future, and we just busted out some Jaron Lanier, and Jaron Lanier is one of the OGs of the Silicon Valley. If anybody knows about what's going on, it is Jaron Lanier, ladies and gentlemen. So I highly recommend you take a look for him on the internet. You'll find plenty of stuff. And Giuseppe Vavangulo, I know you're over there. Did you take a look at just Jaron's website? Maybe you could tell people a little bit about what's going on over there.
Yeah, what an amazing guy. I mean, just like Revolution Radio's own Mr. Rowe, a true polymath, right? A high level of skill in multiple arenas. But what I found really amazing and unexpected is right at the top of his website is he wrote a book, 10 Reasons to getting off all social media yesterday, and this is the 10 reasons he says you should get away from all social media. Number one, social media is dismantling your free will. Number two, quitting social media is the best way to push back against the craziness in our world. Number three, social media is turning you into a jerk. Four, social media is killing truth softly. That's a beautiful song that he's playing words on. Number five, social media is rendering your voice meaningless. Number six, social media is ruining your ability to empathize. Seven, social media is making you less happy rather than more. Eight, social media is intentionally harming your economic dignity. Nine, social media is poisoning the political process. And 10, is probably the truest one, social media hates your soul.
Well, social media hates your soul, but it's a soul sucking mechanism of the behavior modification complex that we talk about here on this show, and that's a lot of what we focus on.
Right.
Because I live here in the Silicon Valley, and I've been a part of what's been going on here for a long time. And so, yeah, there was an excitement at one point, and now things have reached a certain fervor. And like I'm saying, if there's nobody representing us, our representatives don't represent us, they don't have our best interests at heart, then who is it that's sitting over the top of all this? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Anybody who thinks there's a government or a country in this world that's running it, nah. Silicon Valley's running it. Make no mistake about it. I mean, all Google would have to do is stop finishing your sentences like your girlfriend or your boyfriend on the internet and make you have to type in what you mean and actually not spell check it, and the whole world would shut down. If you started sending emails, like, they would really go out, because most people, don't have a clue. And, if there wasn't anything to correct your mistakes, it'd be nothing. People would look like illiterate fools everywhere. So the thing is, just something simple like that. Hey, you're going to give us a problem over here? You're going to give us an antitrust lawsuit? Well, how about this? How about we just stop finishing your sentences on your search box for a couple of days and see how that goes? We'll have some technical difficulties, for a couple of days and see how that goes. All right, let's shut it down for a couple of days and see how that goes. How much money would it cost if the internet got shut down for 24 hours straight? You know how much transactions goes over the internet? Man, it would be a bloodbath. Jaron Lanier, Into the Microcosm with Brandy Lou and Giuseppe Vaffangulo.
People. And it's just a phenomenon that builds up so much wealth and power around the big computers that it turns out not to be an architecture, not to be a way of doing things that we can live with. So that came as a surprise. I have to admit, I didn't see it. I don't think anybody did. We didn't see it in advance, but now we've seen it. And if we're going to be good engineers, if we're going to be empirical, we just have to rethink what we're doing.
And let's follow up on the example that you gave in the opening.
It's just a continuous process of trying to see the results of what you do and trying to improve upon them.
Sure. Let's follow up on the example that we gave in the opening, because the implications, as the Kodak example goes forward many times over, the implications on the middle class, the implications on society in general can be, well, potentially cataclysmic. What do you see in that case?
Well, Kodak created not just hundreds of thousands of jobs, but hundreds of thousands of middle-class jobs with security. And Instagram, I have nothing against great success. So I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I think it's great if somebody can innovate and have great success. But the problem with the way we're creating success is we create it by pretending that all the people who actually do the work don't exist, and we just concentrate the benefits around whoever has the most central computer. So in the case of Instagram, it's a computer that routed photographs, and here you have 13 people being worth $1 billion, whereas all the millions of people who are adding data to their network to make it valuable don't get paid. And now I know that a lot of your viewers are going to say, but they get free benefits. And all I can say is that informal benefits like getting a free service doesn't help you raise kids. It doesn't pay your rent. It doesn't get you through life. You need to have a society that generates formal benefits for people. As I say, this particular way we're doing things just concentrates wealth too much around the big computers. There's nothing wrong with big computers. I think a lot of what they do is essential for us. We just need to recalibrate the way we run our network.
You just need to recalibrate the way they run their networks. No, they made a big mistake and they realized it, but now, the cat's out of the bag, the horse is out of the barn. It's just like wireless technology. You can harden your building so wireless can't get in, but once the signal leaves the transmission device, it's out in the midair. And, there's nothing you could do to protect signal floating around in the air. So anything could disturb that signal. So all you have to do is disturb the signal, and then you black out the network. And so, this whole idea of networking everything together was a good idea. The decentralized internet, where it was like the wild, wild west. You could open up your own little business and, form yourself, carve yourself out a little outpost somewhere, make yourself a few bucks, I mean, that's how it all started, but now it's turned into one giant listening device that is literally psychologically profiling every individual 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, we're providing as nodes to the network. We are providing information for each one of us, providing information about who we are back to this central location. We're teaching the AI what humanity is all about individually. Each individual person's psychological makeup is fed back to the central AI location. It's called Mirror World. There's a avatar that exists in a completely digital world that represents you. And so when you put in a particular scenario into that digital world and see exactly what happens, how far something will go, what will happen if you do this type of thing, what individual will do what when is exposed to certain influential emotional trigger points that are all laid out because of all the information that we've provided to the system as nodes on the network out here clicking and clicking and clicking. My name's Jimmy. Jaron Lanier is going to fix the internet. I don't know if we have enough time, but we're going to try to do it. Here we go.
What is data?
Yes. What is data? Imagine two of your old college friends just had a baby. They post a selfie. And of course it's adorable. And of course you like it. But soon you notice that your news feed starts to change. You see promotions for a baby sling that would be perfect for new parents, and it's even got a logo of your old college. And look, there's a discount. So, you buy it. You've got a gift for your friends, a store's made a sale, and somewhere there's a giant tech company that just earned a little commission on the whole thing. An incredible cloud of transactions like this is the value that makes the digital economy as it is today. I'm here to tell you that you're being shortchanged.
The road you're on, John Anderton, is the one less traveled.
I came up with a few crazy scenes in Minority Report. The one where our hero is trying to run away from the police, but he's being grabbed by each billboard into advertising so they can see where he is.
John Anderton, you could use a Guinness right about now.
It was supposed.
Okay, I want to stop it there. I just want to point out there was a term that went by really fast there. It's called grabbing. And he's talking about Tom Cruise walking through in Minority Report through the airport and all the billboards selling directly to Tom Cruise. And he said he was grabbed. So when he was grabbed, that means that facial recognition grabbed him when he walked in. They identified him. They know exactly who he is. They know exactly what he wants to buy. And they sell advertising to him on these screens. But the grabbing is going on right now, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not going on in Minority Report. You're being grabbed every time you go on the internet.
be cautionary, but instead people just think it looks cool. And in Silicon Valley, to this day, decades later, people say, oh, that new thing you're designing, it looks like it came out of Minority Report. That's so cool. And I'm like, oh God, like, what does it take? What does it take for people to recognize a dystopia? I kind of feel like it backfired. What has happened is heartbreaking. The whole world has become darker. The way humans respond the most intensely is with fear or anger. People who are afraid, people who are angry, they pay attention. We've created a whole civilization based on tricking each other. Let me show you what I mean. In order to sell you that baby sling, a social media company used data. They know a world of things about you and your friends, the least of which are that your friends just had a baby, that you all went to the same college. But there's even more. The algorithms that run the whole thing, they're always adjusting, doing little micro experiments to try to find that little variation that'll keep you clicking, that'll get you to click on buy. You don't just see your own friends, you see these other people who are selected because the algorithm thinks they'll get you. They might look a little richer, a little thinner, a little cuter, something like that. The algorithm doesn't even know, it just knows that these images get you. Even in this video right now, there are algorithms snatching your data with a plan to trick you in the future. So look, here's the thing. This whole shadow economy that runs our world now and concentrates all the wealth and reduces your future would not be possible without the data that's coming from you and your friends. You are the fuel for it. Little space in the middle, and that little space. You know, the advertising model started out really cute, but the computers got more and more powerful. The algorithms got more sophisticated. Everything built up, until it turned into this crazy behavioral manipulation scheme.
So how do we fix this?
The simplest way to get this idea is you'll get paid for your data, and more than you think. Plus, you'll pay for services that are free now, but in the balance, you'll do better. My colleague Glenn Weil and I are charting out how to make a better future, how to make a future where people feel their value, earn their value, and have dignity. All right, what's our banner? What do we call this thing? We call this body of ideas data dignity. You should have the moral rights to every bit of data that exists because you exist, now and forever. In a dignified data future, when your friends have that baby, they might still post about it, but they're going to potentially make money from that data. They'll be able to understand, decide, and earn if they want to, and you'll be able to as well. Let's say you do buy a baby sling. Your data might have been used to help promote that thing to you. In a dignified data future, you're going to get paid, and you're going to get a royalty over time as that system is used.
Okay, so how does this work?
We'll have to invent a lot of things. So we need to keep track of where somebody's data ends up. We need to have a universal way of people getting paid and paying, and it's all totally doable. We have to invent a new kind of entity. That is an entity that would look out for your interests, would deal with all the technical and complicated stuff for you, that you would be able to trust by law. So this new kind of mediator is called a MID. It stands for Mediator of Individual Data. A MID is an organization that's bigger than an individual but smaller than a whole nation. A MID is a little like a labor union where they're still enjoying some strength in numbers. Some MIDs will be easy to get into. There'll be tens of millions of people in them for certain kinds of sort of ordinary data, let's say. There'll be other mids that'll be hard to get into. Every mid will set its own terms. Millions of people will join the same mid. It'll be like getting car insurance or something that's very routine. Some mids might pay you incrementally in little micropayments. Others might pay you every month or every year or average it out over years, so it's really predictable. And that means you're not just going to earn in the moment, but you'll build up a stream of income from your data that will be.
So there it is, a stream of income for your data. Jaron Lanier can fix the internet. That is not the end of that, ladies and gentlemen. We will continue over on Into the Microcosm with Jimmy G and Strike Zone. Stay tuned for the Fenton perspective coming up here on Studio A. And don't forget, we're listener supported. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Come on down. Become a supporter of the free speech that you love so much. Giuseppe Vavanculo, thanks for joining in. Brandy, wow. We ran out of time as usual. I mean, we got so much information here. I tried to pack it in, but I mean, we just didn't get to it all. So I mean, we're just gonna have to let that run over on the channel and stay tuned, like I said, for the Fed perspective. And I'm not sure who's coming up on Studio B, but Fed perspective is a great show. Stay tuned. Giuseppe Vafanculo, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Well, I'm a Revolution Radio host. Friday nights, I have a show called The Perfect Triangle. Then I co-host Operation Scorpio. These are Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Friday nights, Saturday 1 to 4 p.m. And then Scorpio and I do a show on Wednesdays at noon, The Wisdom Circle.
Right on. And Brandy, you were on with the Watchmen on the Wall yesterday, and you can find that over in the archive. How was that?
That was great. It was really good to just have the opportunity to talk and share from my heart.
Yeah, I know. And that's a great show too, ladies and gentlemen. There's so many great shows. Like I say, 48 hours a day, 7 days a week, right here, revolution.radio, freedomslips.com. We are the #1 listener-supported radio network on the face of the plane, ether space, and beyond. And there's a reason, and that's because of the diversity that we have here. And I don't mean that in a politically correct kind of way. I just mean there's a diversity in viewpoints and just about anything that you want. You can find right here on revolution.radio, freedomslips.com. So Into the Microcosm will be back on Friday night. We're going to continue on with the show over on Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean's Strike Zone. And we'll finish up with this information on how Jaron Lanier is going to fix the internet and taking control of your data in the future. And, hey, maybe we can make some money in the future off our data, and maybe there should be something like a mid. Maybe there should be some sort of a body that we can kind of all get into and collective bargaining against these corporate raiders, man, these carpet baggers stealing our data, giving us nothing. My name is Jimmy. It's Into the Microcosm. I want to thank you for joining us. See you on Friday night.
See them at first light after a long night and see the sky take shape, but I wanna see the stars burn after I had my turn. And you're working so hard.
So do you guys want me to finish up with Jaron Lanier?
Sure, man. That guy's really something. What I suggest is you pick up a nice, big, fresh, organic, vegan calzone. You pick out a nice big bud and you take a stroll over and bribe Jaron to come on your show.
Yeah, man, he's a cool Modi, man. He seems like he's got his best interest at heart. But I got to be honest, man. I mean, this video, I'll send you the video, and it's like when he's talking about this, their shapes and stuff. I mean, he's definitely part of this, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He even no matter what he says, everybody's moving towards this Bitcoin situation, you know, and they're gonna want to pay you in these, you know, these microscopic coin things. You know what I mean? They're gonna want to pay you these little tiny pieces of a Bitcoin for your data and this type of thing. So there's no actual dollars and cents, I'm sure. But there's whole companies now that are starting up on the stock market and everything where you can get your data and be in control of it. So it's something moving into the future. You know, it's something that's definitely going to be there. Do you guys? There's like, let me see here. So there's 5 minutes left of this video, so I didn't want to leave everybody hanging.
Yeah, I should finish it.
Okay, here we go.
Run it.
All right, let's go. Here we go.
Like a pension in a new world. That's actually a compelling world. It's a world that can exist. When people hear about these ideas of data dignity, they often push back. It doesn't sound possible. It sounds weird. Well, I'm going to answer all of those concerns.
4 criticisms of data dignity. My data earnings will be too small to be worth it.
Not true. The whole world of Silicon Valley is powered by your data. These are trillion-dollar companies, and the value comes from your data. It's absurd to say it's not worth anything. It's absurd to say that you wouldn't make any money from it if you could. We make an estimate that a small family could, in the very near term, earn something like $20,000 a year from the value of their data.
People will never pay for Facebook.
People used to think that paying for video would be horrible, and then Netflix happened and we got peak TV. Like, when you pay for stuff, it gets better.
Poor people will be priced out of the internet.
The public library gave everyone access to printed literature. So if that creative solution was available before the internet, I'm absolutely convinced that we can rise to the occasion to come up with new solutions that are at least that good. It would benefit everybody ultimately, but would also guarantee that nobody was left out.
The tech giants will never go for this.
We might see an absolute decrease in the relative dominance of the tech companies, but the overall economy will grow so much that the tech companies will grow more than they would have otherwise. Because using your own data against you will cost money, any company that wants to will be dissuaded from doing that. Instead, they'll have to come up with productive, creative things to do where they add value and people want to pay for.
See, that's key. People that want to use your data against you will have to pay for it. That will stop a lot of people from using that data right away. They won't want to pay for it. See? Hey Rio, what's going on, man? Are you good? I mean, I don't know what happened to you. On Saturday we didn't see you, man, and we thought maybe you got power, your power was out or something. Anyhow, let's finish up here.
Value. Value, yes. Manipulation, no. That is a dignified future. In a world where the manipulation machine is shut down, there will still be people who are paranoid. There will still be conspiracy theories. But there will not be a commercial incentive to incite these constantly, all the time, 24 hours a day. Our downward spiral, we can stop it simply by stopping the amplification of it. That is the way you make a working democracy. That's the way you make a humane culture. It's even worse if you think about the future where you're, whatever it is you do, whether you're a nerd culture, we can stop it simply by stopping the amplification of it. That is the way you make a working democracy. That's the way you make a humane culture. It's even worse if you think about the future where you're, whatever it is you do, whether you're a nurse or a bricklayer or a writer, anything, AIs and robots will probably come for your job. The little twist that we don't want anybody to know is that in order for the AI and the robots to work, we need everybody's data. Let me tell you a story. I had an experience that moved me terribly. I met with a group of elite, brilliant high school students. They collaborated on the questions. And the first one was, if we're going to be surpassed by artificial intelligence, if we won't be needed, why are we here? I just realized that what we're doing now with our current culture of technology that's so tech-centric and just pretends that all the people out there giving us the data don't matter, that culture is sending a message of human obsolescence. We hear this so often and so much, and it breaks my heart. If you can't see that, try, for God's sakes. It's so important. Don't believe that you're worthless. It's a lie. Don't believe it. I'm certain that a dignified data economy is not an option, but a necessity.
Mom's Jimmy, it's into the microcosms. Gerald Lanier. I'm sitting here with Giuseppe Vapangulo and a lovely, effervescent Brandy Lou. Rockin' Rio's in the chat room. Dawn's 2U2's in the chat room. Bob Moses. So we're gonna get out of here, man. We gotta feed them dogs. I do. I know you gotta feed something over there, Brandy. Giuseppe, I know you gotta walk your dogs. So it's time for the animals to receive their care Seems like Rockin' Rio is over there. Rockin' Rio, are you going to be around later? Because I'll grab you when you're available, and we'll come on and do some. I need to record some of that stuff we did the other night for the show. So let me know if you can. Just throw me a message over there in the message box. And what are you guys looking for a link for Jaron Lanier? Oh, was that what they're looking for over there?
Yeah, people couldn't spell it. They didn't know how to
Here,
spell it.
let me.
I have his website. I can put that in.
Here, let me just I'll get this video and I'll put it. Oh shit. Yeah, I did it. Hang on. Yeah, if you put that over there, and I'll put this video over there. Jaron Lanier fixes the internet. I'll put this over here. There you go. There's that. So you guys got it. So
they can see where he is.
I may be back in a little bit. Like, you're still at work? Well, just hit me up later if you're around, and we'll see. We'll see what's up. I think Epic said he had time to jump on, so I just wanted to jump on and try to tighten that up a little bit. So let me know if you can. If you can't, that's cool. Everybody, Marty, everybody. Let me see who's over here. Giuseppe, hang on. Dearest Dawn's over there. Nice to see you. Algorithm, Marty, Patricia. Let me see who else is over there. John, of course. John's always here, and Dawn, and let me see who else. Scrolling back, way back. How far are you going back? I'm going way back. There's Mike Davis. What's going on, Mike? Zoe's here. Yeah, I saw Zoe saying she was talking about Richard Allen Miller in the chat, and it's funny because I just called Richard Allen Miller last week, and I was trying to get a hold of him, and I got stymied out, and I never actually talked to him. So I don't know. She was saying something that he might have went on the air. So we'll see. We'll see. So you guys ready to go? Because I got to go feed these dogs, man.
Ready to go.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody, for coming.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful night.
Yeah, man. We'll see you Thursday night. If I don't see you tonight, we'll see you. I'm sure we'll see you. I'm going to be on Kev Baker on Wednesday. So for sure on that. So we'll see you then, eh? All right, here we go. We're out. I think we are.
Nothing runs anymore. Nothing works. But the people are the same. And the people will do anything to get what they need.
This is the police.
What they need most is Soylent Green.
The supply of Soylent Green has been exhausted.